What's up, guys? It's Gun. Hopefully, you guys are coming off a profitable NFL Week 2. We saw scores normalize a little bit more throughout the DFS industry and only a few slate breakers. And luckily, I was on the right side of most of those slate breakers. So it was a really, really, really good weekend for me. Hopefully, you guys are able to say the same words. I can't say words, right? Man, we got so much to catch up on for week 2. In this video, we're going to look back at my process going into week 2, some of the picks, where I tiered them, some of my thoughts, see where I was right, see where I was wrong, and see where things shook out a little high variance against what I was hoping for, or against what I was hoping for. So hopefully we learned something and we sharpen ourselves. Iron sharpens iron as we head into week 3. So this is always the first thing I like to do before I start working on week 3, is to tighten up my week 2. You esport enthusiasts, the VOD reviews, you just kind of see if your game plan was right. So that's what we're going to do here. Before we do that, want to do our $25 PayPal giveaway. Last week, I did a contest. If you guys were subscribers, you liked all the videos, and you left a comment, each video that you commented on was worth one entry into a random drawing to select a winner that would win $25 via PayPal or a week pass. So the announcement for that is now the winner of the $25 PayPal giveaway is Kenny Espinel. And the comment that won was, "Let's get the channel back up." So a little bit of a coincidence there that was kind of why we did the contest. But I tell you what, let's run it back. Let's run it back. Kenny reached out to me, Twitter, on YouTube, whatever. We'll get you that 25. Let's run it back. Let's do the same thing this week, and then I'm going to talk about some more contests that we're going to do, thanks to my boy Rich. So same thing this week, guys. Any video I post this week will be an eligible video for the contest. All you got to do is be subscribed to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and leave a comment. And if you don't have post notifications on, you might want to turn those on as well. That would really help me out. And essentially all we're trying to do is shake the channel back up, bring it back to the YouTube algorithm forefront. We saw a lot of increase in viewership, increase of interactivity, and it's really encouraging as we head into the month of October as NBA comes back. You guys know the NBA really shakes up our channel's community. So lots of great stuff coming up, man. I cannot thank you guys enough how humbled I am all the time that you guys even care about what I say. Some of the comments I read this week were missing baseball content. I felt bad. I'm super grateful that you guys liked my baseball intel. But in almost a selfish way, we had to stop, or I didn't have to stop. I ended up not having enough time to prioritize baseball videos because it just wasn't returning a lot of views and clicks on the channel, and it takes hours to really spitball some baseball slates. But we still cover baseball every day, and we will for the rest of the season. So if you guys are looking to play baseball DFS to supplement your NFL DFS, we have coverage at rundfs.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS, we run DFS. So if you guys want to be part of our community, man, go sign up at rundfs.com and get yourself a week pass. I say that to say this. First of all, you'll unlock all the spreadsheets, and we'll be looking at the NFL spreadsheet here in a minute. You guys have seen the videos. You guys know how we get down. But you also get access to the rundfs.com VIP Discord. Discord is an application you can download on your desktop, your laptop, your mobile device. It's 24/7 chat on the go. And of course, every day we got voice chats firing up. Every Saturday night we have an NFL voice chat, the candle burn, going to talk our plays and tighten up. And then of course for NBA, pre-lock voice chat every day before lock as we get news and plays and all that good stuff. So if you guys want access to that, get yourself a week pass at rundfs.com. My screen went down. There we go. Speaking of Discord, here's the Discord right here. We'll put it on the main screen. Yesterday, my boy Rich, you guys might remember Rich. He's been in videos in the past, a couple of basketball pods and some football pods, and really good dude. Play Fortnite with him all the time on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/gundacker99. Yesterday in chat, how much is a month pass? I told him right now the month passes are $70 until the NBA gets here, and then you guys know the month passes goes up to $100 because of the work. And he said I'd like to do a giveaway for 3-month passes. So he sponsored 3-month passes, sent me the money, paid for it. So we need fun ways to maybe award those out to the community. So I've got several ideas. I think one's going to be on Twitter this week. So stay tuned in upcoming videos for how we'll give that one away. It's probably going to be like a retweet giveaway. And then one, I think we're going to do one for anyone who grabs a week pass, or really any sub. Anyone who gets an active sub from this week, from this video on. Even if you are an active sub and you extend a week or whatever, we'll pull all those people, and we'll pick a winner to give a free month extension to. So if you guys are looking to test out RunDFS.com with a little bit of upside, it's a good time to come to RunDFS.com, sign up, grab yourself a week pass. It's like less than $5 a day when you do it. And yeah, maybe you'll get a free month extension. Compliments of Rich, and that means we'll also have 2 more giveaways on this week somehow for a month pass. So basically, I guess we'll open it from now till Monday. That sound good? And Monday, when we announce the PayPal winner for the comment contest, we'll also announce who gets the free month extension, and so on and so forth. We do need to bring back the VIP shoutouts too, because it's been a while. I guess we'll use that in the daily videos for basketball. What do you say? Anyway, enough plugging, man. We got to talk about NFL Week 2 and how we did or didn't do. So I want to know how you guys did. If you guys did really well, let me know in the comments below. If you guys didn't do well, why didn't you do well? Who messed you up the most? We're going to look over my tiers, and the way I designed my tiers is how I would rank people in a 20-entry max in terms of my ownership exposure. So my tier 1s I would have more exposure to, tier 2s I would have heightened exposure, and then 3s would be lower, and tier 4s GPP only. But I also try and keep cash games in mind here for the subscribers. So I try to put my safest pre-flop plays in tier 1 with a little bit more low floor, high ceiling guys that I really love in tier 2. So I ended up as my tier 1s, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. Both of them were just fine. My running back, Alvin Kamara, this one hurt me a lot. I made it out alive and profited this weekend, man, but Alvin Kamara, what could have been. Drew Brees got hurt a couple of plays into that game against the Los Angeles Rams. Is that an excuse? Well, this happened to me last week when Nick Foles got injured for Leonard Fournette. Maybe it's not a full-on excuse, but I definitely don't think Alvin Kamara walks away with just 7 fantasy points if Drew Brees plays that whole game. Teddy Bridgewater did not look great. You can credit it to the Rams defense, but man, I think that the absence of Drew Brees was a major kickback to the lack of fantasy value for Alvin Kamara. Kamara was one of my highest players on the entire slate. We'll go through some of my lineups that I had with him. A lot of I probably had 80%. All the sites combined, at least 80% Alvin Kamara exposure. So I don't regret the play. I'll blame some injury there and some bad luck there. But it is what it is. He was one of my top plays today. Wide receivers, the 4 receivers I thought would be the safest price per dollar usage situation. Sammy Watkins, Tyrell Williams, Terry McLaurin, and John Ross. And just if we're being honest, it was close there. It was between Muhammad and McLaurin. I went McLaurin. All of them except Sammy Watkins, believe it or not, came through as a great play. We'll go to the Cincinnati game. John Ross, 24 fantasy points, 4 receptions, 8 targets. Only caught half of his targets, but still got 100+ and a bomb. I liked him a lot. If we go to my game notes and Control F, John Ross, you'll see me singing his praises. John Ross. Starting with the Bengals, without A.J. Green, they went to Seattle and lost a 1-point game while Dalton threw for over 400 yards, connecting a lot with John Ross. Ross put up nearly 40 fantasy points on 12 targets, 2 touchdowns. Sure, this is extreme ceiling, but volume is what I gravitate toward the most. By the way, Ross has scored a touchdown in 6 of his last 9 games. We can now push that to 7 of 10. Should the 49ers defense be good and this Bengals offense be average plus, the better matchup on the 49ers defense is the one Tyler Boyd has. It's the one that Chris Godwin had in week 1. Boyd was peppered with 11 low average depth of targets in week 1, but was one touchdown away from having 20 plus fantasy points. So you can see I liked Ross there, and then I also thought we could move the needle on the Tyler Boyd matchup as well. And both of them were absolutely fantastic plays, and I had quite a bit of both. Tyler Boyd, a little bit more of a PPR darling here, caught all 10 of his targets for 122 yards. And I'll actually show my top. I think it was my early slate 3-entry maxes. I think they were in my top early slate lineup there. So I'm going to look at all my lineups here in a minute, or all my top lineups and all my my bottom lineups. On the tight end situation, oh, by the way, Tyrell Williams versus Sammy Watkins. So that game, it delivered in terms of like Chiefs points. We expected the Chiefs put up points. Patrick Mahomes did his thing. Was a great play. But Demarcus Robinson was the guy you wanted. A lot of hype on Mecole Hardman. He was fine. He scored more than Sammy Watkins. But Watkins only caught 6 of 13 targets. Again, you tell me any day that this guy is going to get 13 targets, I'm going to play him. So I think the process is right. The usage was there. He just did not catch a good bit. So 6 catches, 49 yards. Surely, if he catches, a couple more of them, we get a near 20 for, 80, 90 yards. So I'm not regretting the play on Sammy Watkins. The volume was there 100%. It just didn't come through, and Demarcus Robinson was the guy. Travis Kelce, by the way, 7 receptions, 9 targets, 100-plus yards, and a touchdown. He was my top tight end, tier 1 play. Darrell Waller to run it back with him on the other side. 12.3 fantasy points, 6 receptions, 7 targets. Medium results, no touchdown there, but at his price, $3,300, I think the points per dollar was there. He was a great high floor cash game play, and it worked out. I didn't tier 1 any defense this week. Obviously, Patriots were the one to have, and I had a decent chunk of them. In the tier 2s, man, we're going to run through Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Both made me proud. In the running back situation, Austin Eckler, I think he was my highest RB after Kamara. And then I took a little bit of a tournament stand here on Tariq Cohen. The week prior, he had lined up a career-high snap counts and mostly in the slot, so I thought we can get a cheap slot receiver. Did not really come out to be a beneficial thing. James Conner, the running back for the Steelers, he got injured as well as Ben Roethlisberger getting injured that game. First half did not look great for the Steelers offense. They started making a comeback there, but then Connor went down. So that hurt me. Did have a chunk of that. AB, Julian Edelman, basically decided to bunch together the Patriots receivers. None of the receivers on the Patriots were somebody you had to have, but had a high enough floor that and ceiling pre-flop that I wanted a little piece. AB news was a little bit murky throughout the week. There's a lot of reports that he would intend to play, would travel with the team, and then Sunday morning, reports came out that he's going to play and they're going to force feed him, and that's what we saw first couple drives, and they forced him a touchdown. But then after that, they just kind of played their game, went on about their business. He had a touchdown, and I don't even know if he caught anything after that. Let me go to that Dolphins Patriots game. On the Patriots side, Antonio Brown, 4 receptions, 8 targets, 56 yards, and a touchdown. So, just overall, the Patriots, other than Tom Brady, were a fade in the defense. So they spread it out. We thought that could be a range of outcome. It was something that I think I kind of hinted at in my notes here. Game script suggests that a Pats running back has super positive trends, but I've long failed at correctly pegging which Pats running back goes ham. The prototype north-south back here would be Sony Michel, and I'd probably pick him of the 3, but in a healthy lead last week, Steelers saw plenty of James White and Rex Burkhead. So we were really. I'm always worried about a team like the Patriots. They remind me of like the Golden State Warriors. They're so talented and so spread out that we could see no one go off, and that's almost what we saw here. Even Tom Brady was expendable in the grand scheme of this slate. So I had no tier one Patriots other than Tom Brady, so I think the process was right and the results worked out. Keenan Allen was a fine play. Juju Smith, another guy that I had a lot of. I started ending up with more and more of him as I made lineups. He had 8 targets. Again, Ben Roethlisberger goes down. I expected Ben to pepper him a little bit more. I don't even think he didn't even have a target in the first quarter, I believe, and then like second half when Mason Rudolph came in, they started shaking it up a little bit more, and we started getting them some targets. 8 for 84 yards, maybe another catch gets him a 100+ yard bonus. No touchdown here. I think I'm gonna go half here. You know what? Screw it. No. 26 points by the Steelers. Ben goes down. Ben likes to use him a lot, target him. I think the targets are enough targets there to consider it bad luck. Early on, I was really as the first quarters of the Patriots game and the Steelers game were dueling. AB was booming. He was cooking, and Juju was not. And I was like, man, I should have played AB over Juju, but it ended up not being a big deal. But Juju underperformed for what my expectations were. It is what it is. What can you do? Vance McDonald, 22.8 fantasy points. That is one of the more trolly results there because I liked Vance last week quite a bit, and he didn't really get involved until the final drive of the game. Mason Rudolph threw 19 pass attempts, 2 touchdowns. Ben goes down. Ben's out for the season, by the way. News broke today. I think he has to get Tommy John, and there's some suspicious of him even coming back to football. So we'll see. John Brown was fine. Tyler Boyd, great play. We talked about him a minute ago. Will Fuller. I don't even think I ended up with much Will Fuller, but the idea behind Fuller as a tier 2 would be that maybe Jalen Ramsey does just enough to hold Hopkins down a little bit. Fuller had 7 targets, so the targets were there, just didn't do much with it. DeAndre, by the way, 9 fantasy points. DeAndre was a tier 3, so tournament only, low floor guy in this matchup. That worked out well. Had George Kittle at tight end, wasn't a slate breaker, and then the 4 tier 2 defenses I had: Ravens, Bills, Texans, Bears. All were fine individually, but obviously no one. The Patriots defense was the second highest scoring entity in DFS on week 2, above Patrick Mahomes and below Demarcus Robinson. From what I can tell, that's started a lot of get rid of defense debates on DFS Twitter. Is what it is. I want to go look at some of my top lineups and some of my lowest lineups here, just to kind of explain how we transfer some of these picks from tier 1. By the way, every week I do this. I ranked my tiers and how I would approach it, and even have some recommended builds here that we've blocked out. And I have GPP groups that of teams that I'm running and whatnot. You see Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews there. So let's go look at what I ran. I attacked the early only slate on DraftKings, the main slate, and the main slate on Fantasy Draft. I didn't play Yahoo this week, and I had a very little FanDuel. So on DraftKings, early only 3 entry max. I went 3 entry maxes on both slates. I also went 20 entry maxes on both slates. A goal of mine this year was to play as many slates as possible because NFL just has so much money out there. And if you put in the work, you'll end up getting the results here. So my early only, I ran 20 entry max on the early only, and then I picked 3 of my favorite lineups to go fight in the 3 entry maxes. And luckily, I picked some really good lineups. I ended up cashing everything. So just for example, this is in the cover 4 3 entry max. Top lineup here, 196.18 fantasy points. Finished 21.68 points behind first. That's a Lamar Jackson lineup. Handcuffed him to Mark Andrews. And then, of course, I had Tyler Boyd and John Ross, 2 receivers I liked quite a bit. Really low ownerships considering the slate. Chris Carson, James Conner, median results. Chris Thompson, median results. But it was just one of those days where 196 fantasy points boosted by the defense was a high enough score to get you there. Even my lowest lineup cashed in this contest. The cash line hit in this contest was I guess it was 125. I guess it barely cashed. So, really, really profitable day. My lowest lineup down here had Brady with a Josh Gordon handcuff, trying to get cute there. Juju was there. Vernon Davis without Jordan Reed was there. Austin Eckler was a great play today. He was 48% owned on the slate. So kind of crazy that I didn't have him in my top lineup. I think if I have Eckler maybe over James Conner here, that could really do some damage, getting me closer to first. And then Chris Carson wasn't a play that I had much of on the main slate. Matter of fact, I don't think I had any on the main slate, but he was in the early only pool. Let's move on to next contest. This is the first down 20 entry max. Is this only early only? I think this is no. This is the all day slate. So this one was a top lineup in the 20 entry max here of mine. Josh Allen, John Brown handcuff. Brown, I'm loving it, man. 7 receptions, 72 yards. Wish he got in the end zone, but Bills did their thing against the Giants. Eckler, Ezekiel Elliott, both 20 pluses. Again, Alvin Kamara, one of my highest owned players, with the 7 piece that really, really, really handicapped me a lot. So that was my top lineup there. My top few lineups are really spread out. I had a Carr lineup up top, a Lamar Jackson lineup up there, Patrick Mahomes. So my top 5 lineups all had different quarterbacks. My lowest lineup, 101 fantasy points, Tariq Cohen, 2%. I had a little GPP crush on him. It blew up. I mean, that's what it is. Last year, Tariq Cohen was in 3 milli maker lineups. He had 7 receiving yards, 2 receptions, 18 rushing yards. Is what it is. That's a epitome of a GPP play. What can you do? Didn't put him in cash, obviously. Juju, George Kittle. George Kittle was kind of a letdown overall as well. Texans defense was fine for what it's worth, right? We project them at double-digit fantasy points. That's exactly what happened. It's just the Patriots did so much better than everyone else that it was what it was. Can we talk about Terry McLaurin, bro? This guy is somebody I'm watching a lot going forward. This is their wide receiver 1. He's a rookie drafted to eventually supplement Dwayne Haskins. As a rookie, most rookies are drafted and they have to play special teams. Jay Gruden in preseason was like, nah, we're not putting this guy in special teams. This guy is our guy. So they like him a lot. I like him a lot from what I saw. I was really all about his speed and targets from week 1. I did a value video late in the week, really singing his praises. This is one of my favorite cheap guys, and he was probably my highest owned sub 4K guy. Where did I McLaurin. Terry McLaurin was the heaviest hitter of all pass catchers, but Keenum's for 7 targets. McLaurin, yada yada. I wouldn't fault you for suspecting Terry McLaurin's volume and upside is worth running back at 3,800. He played over 92% of snaps last week. McLaurin had a 20-yard average depth of target and 143 air yards. A different name, and he's a lock. So I think the fact that people don't know who he was, even after week 1, his ownership stayed low, and here we have him at just 4.7%, and I had him as a tier 1 option, meaning he was one of my highest owned receivers. That's how good of a play I thought he was. So it really, really worked out. He got a late touchdown where Keenum stared at him 3 times in a row in the end zone. It was fantastic. Tough matchup this week, too, against Ronald Jones, right? So he did his thing. I like him a lot going forward. Let's move on to other contests here. I talked about playing the tiers contest. That's a contest I saw some overlay last week. This week, I think it filled up, which is fine. But I really liked my tiers builds. Basically, I try to find as many locks as possible at each category, and then I find maybe 3 or 4 categories where I chop it 50% or 30%. I loved what I had going into this slate, and once again, first place, which was $50,000, 214.52 fantasy points, split first place with 2 people. I was 21.98 points behind first with my top lineup featuring, you guessed it, Alvin Kamara. Kamara was the guy I locked in all 20 of my tiers lineups, and that might be the difference between me and first place. I pretty much nailed every other tier here. Dalvin Cook, Lamar Jackson, Dak, Travis Kelce, Austin Eckler. Todd Gurley was fine. Tyler Boyd, 25. Kenny Galladay had like 28 in that final tier as well. So looking at the difference between first and mine there, he had Saquon and tier 1 with 25 fantasy points. And had Russell Wilson here. So Barkley and Wilson was enough to be the difference in my lineup. He also had Patrick Mahomes there, and I had Lamar Jackson. So I came really close to having the right keys to that one. Definitely enjoy playing tiers. We'll play again this weekend. If you guys haven't tested out tiers, go for it, man. It's a lot of fun. And then lastly, for lineup review, let's talk about Fantasy Draft. Fantasy Draft had a $1 million prize pool, Hooters Million. I guess it's the second week they did it. It's a 40,000 entry. It was decent overlay. It only hit 32,648 entries. Ran a bunch of lineups in that. Once again, had a lot of Alvin Kamara, which came to bite me. And then this contest included the Sunday Night Football game, which had Deshaun Jackson and Julio Jones, and I liked both of them, but I especially liked Deshaun Jackson for what we saw in Week 1, heavy usage out of the slot, and I thought, maybe Desmond Trufant would give Alshon Jeffrey a little bit of problem, so I was like, you know what, let's build our core the way we have it, and let's add a nice pepper of Deshaun Jackson. I think I had 30% DJax on Fantasy Draft because I wanted that late hammer to keep me going forward. And then if you guys watched it, that game was so bad for injuries. If you're an Eagles fan, Jeffrey went down, Djax went down. It got really, really ugly. The medical tent was a revolving door. So 30% of Djax kind of handicapped me in terms of my winnings. I ended up profiting a couple $100 overall on the contest, but I had high stakes in Alvin Kamara, bunch of Tariq Cohen, 30% Deshaun Jackson. So there was a lot of spots that could have been better, and just other than I'll take the blame on Tariq Cohen. That is a high variable GPP play, but Alvin Kamara and Deshaun Jackson. I think, like I said, Alvin Kamara probably does a lot better if Drew Brees is not injured, and then Deshaun Jackson straight up got injured. So it was really unfortunate. Top lineup here finished 536th place. It was Lamar, James Conner, who also maybe suffered from Big Ben's injury, but he got injured himself. And Tariq Cohen, Juju, John Ross, Kelsey, Tyrell, Gurley, Patriots defense. That's my top lineup, and then my lowest lineup. 99 fantasy points was a Big Ben lineup. He got injured. Connor injured. Alvin Kamara. Drew Brees got injured. Juju Smith. Big Ben got injured. John Ross did his thing. Darren Waller did his thing. Deshaun Jackson got injured. By the way, Deshaun Jackson, 2% owned in the field, and I had 30%. So if he does have just an average day, and I've already profited a couple hundred, bam, he probably drives me up to maybe a 1K profit because we had lineups in the top 500 fighting. So if we have a 20-point, think about it. If Deshaun Jackson gives us 20 points, I think our second top lineup here, third maybe, one of these top lineup. Yeah, we had a 172-point lineup with Djax here, including guys like Cohen and Connor. If Djax has a 20-point game, that moves this lineup to 192 and 192 points in this contest. In that area, it's $200 on that lineup, and like I said, he's driving the ship on a lot of lineups, so easily could have been a comma in the fantasy draft profit, but it's profit nonetheless. So this is one of the uglier weeks to walk away with more money that you walked in with for me. So I know for a fact that I'm really lucky to have profited, dealing with so many guys that either were exposed to injuries themselves or guys that were exposed to quarterbacks who got injured. Juju Smith, Alvin Kamara. So it turned out to be a low-scoring week overall. I'm really happy about that. I don't have a lot of complaints about my process in retrospect. I think maybe I took a little too high of a stand on Tariq Cohen. Somebody as volatile as him maybe should just be a tier 3 guy at most. But for the most part, I'm happy with the targets that all the pass catchers we targeted got. Happy with most of the results, and I'm happy overall. So I can't really complain and beat myself up too much on much of these plays. It was a good, profitable week for me. I hope you guys made it out with more that you walked in with. I'm going to go after the showdown slate tonight. And then, of course, this week, look out for more pick videos. I'll do each position on DraftKings. I might do FanDuel, but I'll definitely do DraftKings, and we'll have all of the great content similar to we had last week. Make sure you guys are commenting on videos if you're subscribed, like the videos, and we'll do another $25 PayPal giveaway on next Monday's Week 3 review. And then, of course, anyone who gets a week sub or greater in the RunDFS.com website will be eligible to get a month extension, compliments of Rich, and then we have 2 more month passes to give away. So look for that. I'll probably have a Twitter contest announced in the next video. So you guys that are on Twitter, make sure you guys are following me at twitter.com/GundackerSports. You'll see the @ in the top right corner of your screen, man. I had a lot of fun week 2. It was fun sweating it, fun watching the games. I'm hoping week 3 is as fun and as nice. That's 2 profitable weeks going into week 3, so we're picking up where we left off last year. And it's so much fun. NBA so close. Got baseball tonight as well. Hopefully that goes well. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.